10 years ago, the first amiibo launched alongside Smash for Wii U. If you don't know what amiibo are, they're these overpriced figures that you put on your controller to unlock a single coin in-game. It works by using the NFC chip located inside the base of the figure. You put it on the spot and boom! They're kind of like Skylanders, except with more recognizable characters like Mario, Link, and Big Man. You know who Big Man is, right? Right? We're basically going to look at the entire history of amiibo from reveal to today whenever this video gets uploaded.
I gotta get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Amiibo were... Is amiibo singular or Can I English? They were revealed during E3 of 2014, where Bill Trinen showed what the first lineup of amiibo would be, and how they would work in Smash. Long story short, you beat them up. He also mentioned some other games that would work with amiibo. There wasn't much else shown about amiibo other than an ad a month before Smash launched, and it's bad. Really bad. Wii U ads tended to target a more younger demographic because they're the ones with all the money. Clearly. And this ad is no exception. I hated this ad too. Not because it was cringy, but because the main character picked Mario and Pikachu, which were the most common amiibo back then. And I was unbelievably enraged because he didn't pick a rarer amiibo like Captain Falcon or Pit. This is not a joke, my priorities were a pile of mush back then. Smash for Wii U launched on November 21st, 2014, along with 12 amiibo. They also worked with the 3DS one, but you would need this dumb thing in order for it to work, which launched about a year after amiibo did. Unless you had a new 3DS, which had the NFC reader built in. 1 month later, we got 6 more amiibo, so 18 in total for 2014. Not very many, but the next year made up for it.
Hello, how are you? I am under the...
2015 was the year of amiibo. It's true, look it up. 71 amiibo figures released. Most of them were for Smash, but there were also some new series introduced, like Mario, Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and some one-off ones like Chibi Robo, which you can't plug in, so what's even the point? The yarn Yoshis were cool because they were made of actual yarn. And they made a big one too for some reason. There were 4 that were made for Skylanders Superchargers that acted as both Skylanders and amiibo.
I don't know why people say that I look like Bowser.
Amiibo cards were also introduced. Basically, you buy a pack that has 6 cards in it, open it up, and see what you get. This is what we like to call a gateway drug. There were 204 cards that launched in 2015, so if you count both cards and figures, there were 275 that launched that year. If you could even find them. It became obvious rather quickly that Nintendo had no idea how to stock these things. There would be Mario and Kirby everywhere, but you'd be incredibly lucky to find a Wii Fit trainer or Samus. But don't worry, they made up for it by overstocking Animal Crossing figures. They thought they would be as popular as the Smash series for some reason, so they were quite literally everywhere. I was 13 at the time, so naturally I didn't have anything better to do, so I hunted them like crazy. It got to the point where my mom told me I could only buy 1 a week, which was really disappointing because I found Marth and Dark Pit at the same time. I still regret getting Marth. Anyway, another issue was exclusives. 14 of them for Smash Bros in particular were exclusive to GameStop, Best Buy, Toys R Us, Target, and Amazon? Do you even want to sell these things, Nintendo? What's wrong with you? Despite the flaws in hunting for them, amiibo were quite popular, which means that I can only go up from here, right? Amiibo went from a sensation to an old fad in just 1 year. I blame the ad. They only released 34 figures that year, which is just under half of what they launched the previous year. But they made up for it with amiibo cards by releasing 258 of them. Most of them were for Animal Crossing, but there were also some from Animal Crossing. And also Animal Crossing. For figures, we got more for Smash, including a gold Mega Man that was sold with the Legacy Collection on 3DS, but is still considered a Smash amiibo for some reason. Animal Crossing, Zelda, Kirby, Splatoon, Mario, and Monster Hunter, Japan. The Wolf Link one in particular is pretty cool because it unlocks a new dungeon in Twilight Princess, and it gives you a companion that you can use in Breath of the Wild. Let's try using him in Tears of the Kingdom. They chopped him up. It was around this point when I stopped caring about amiibo. That was quick. I think the main reason I stopped hunting them was because the hype around them was all but gone. There were still people hunting them, obviously, but not as much as in 2015. But that doesn't mean they weren't successful. By September of 2016, they sold 30 million figures and over 39 million cards. That's in the span of almost 2 years. For context, that's a really big number.
Marsharsha Mel roasted toasted.
They picked it back up a bit by releasing 35 figures in 2017. When I said a bit, I meant that literally. There were a bunch of Zelda ones, some for Mario, Fire Emblem, Metroid, Splatoon, Smash, and some one-off ones like Pikmin, Poochie, and QB. Japan only. Why does Japan get all the good ones? I've always wanted a white box with 2 dots on it. It is the rarest amiibo after all. I'm not kidding. The amiibo market values a white box with 2 dots on it instead of a spider with bendable legs. A new line of amiibo cards was introduced for Mario Sports Superstars. These have some of the most basic and generic images of these characters for some reason. They didn't even try for these. This pose is from the 3D World cover. That's just a basic Luigi pose next to a horse. These are also basic Yoshi poses. Most of these are just basic renders right next to a horse. Except for Wario, they just opened his hand because if he was caught punching a horse, the Geneva Convention would have a fit. And then there's these, which were obviously made from scratch. Why does Donkey Kong look so sad? There was also cereal. Why are you like this? They released Mario's cereal with an amiibo tag on it soon after Mario Odyssey launched. If I remember right, this was pretty hard to find back in the day. Imagine staying up for the midnight release of a cereal just for it to be Lucky Charms. If you want to buy it now, I mean, you could, but it probably smells like rats. There were only 12 figures released in 2018. There were a bunch of Splatoon ones, a few for Smash because Smash released, again, and a bunch of one-off ones like Mega Man, Diablo, Dark Souls, and this huge Detective Pikachu. Why is it so big? It's not even life-size, so what's the point? They didn't care much about amiibo this year, and I don't really either, so let's just move.
Live in a low-income housing environment.
Things are starting to finally look up. 20 figures and 6 cards released this year. Why only 6 cards? Better question, what the heck is a Power Pros? Most of them were for Smash, but we also got some Shovel Knight ones and a Link. Finally, things are starting to look up this year. I can't wait to see what they do in 2020. Why? Oh.
Do you smell it?
They picked it up slightly this year, again, by releasing 20 figures and 56 cards. There's some from Smash. What? Really? Mario 3D World, Skyward Sword, Metroid Dread, and Monster Hunter. We got more Animal Crossing cards, along with Yu-Gi-Oh! Ones, only available in Japan. They also made these things, which are meant to be used at Universal Parks. You basically use them to interact with things in the park, like this or this. It's also an amiibo for some reason. An overpriced amiibo too, which is really saying something. Insert funny thing here. Only 9 figures released this year. 3 for Smash, 3 for Monster Hunter, and 3 for Splatoon. Amiibo sales were starting to slow down at this point. By the end of 2022, they had sold 77 million figures, which means it took them 3 times longer to sell what they sold in only 2 years. 11 figures and 1 Magic Band. I think they gave up. It's just more Smash, Zelda, and Splatoon figures. But we finally got Big Man! The year's not over yet, but they've only sold 3 figures. 2 for Xenoblade and 1 for Smash. I think it's over. In total, there were 237 figures, 614 cards, 9 really bad watches, and 1 cereal box. If you go into most stores that used to sell them, you're lucky to even see 1. The areas where they were once stocked are now filled with games and controllers, you know, things people don't really want. Now you'd be lucky to find them in any store, or even online at a reasonable price. Wait, what? For some reason, Nintendo decided to restock a bunch of amiibo recently. Here's a bunch of amiibo that I got recently that weren't even that hard to find. I just went to GameStop and on Nintendo's official website, and it was pretty easy to find them. It only took them 9 years to fix their supply issues. I'm going into debt. But why are they doing this seemingly out of nowhere after having supply issues for so long? Well, what if there's... Hold on. What if there's a new Smash Bros. Okay, that's it. If you want to watch another video... That's cool. And if you want to subscribe, that's cool. Anyway, but